Number one, you had a rectangular prism. It looked something like yeah, you can see how much time I'm going to spend drawing them, right? This was 5. Let's do that. Let's move that. This was 5, 7, and 3. Okay? You had to determine what you saw as being the base. So I separated it out. If I separate this out as the base shape, 7 and 3 have nothing to do with my height. My height has to be what? 5. I could have separated out 5 and 3 as my base shape. My height would have been 7. I could have separated out 5 and 7 as my base. My height would have been 3. Anyway, I'm going to get the same answer. P and B come from this rectangle. The perimeter, 7 plus 3 is 10. There's 10 more over here. The perimeter is 20. 7 times 3 is 21. Once I have these two pieces of information, it's just plugging numbers into a formula. P times H plus 2 times B. 5 times 20, 100. 20 times 21, 42. 142 inches squared. Now, since I did number 1, do I really need to do number 2, which is exactly the same type of picture? Or is everybody okay if I skip that? Okay. Let's talk then about number 3, which looked like this. It was a triangular prism. They said that this was 17, that this was 17, that this was 10, that this was 24, and that this was 18. Now I'm going to tell you there was a flaw in this problem. It worked out. Does anybody know what the flaw might be? Anybody? Hayden? Yes and no. Reardon?
That if you did one side, like if you did a side of a triangle prism,
What's that? Yeah, this height, 18, would really have to be smaller than what? 17, because this is across from a right angle. This technically should be larger than this. So the problem really isn't drawn right, but it didn't change how we do this problem. If this is my base, what's my height? 24. It has nothing to do with the base. It's the part that connects the two bases. Everybody with me? That's probably one of the biggest things that happens is people think of height as being from top to bottom instead of the distance between the two faces that are the same. This is H. P and B come from here. 17, 17. 34 plus 10. 44. 1/2. The base times the height. What's half of 18? What's 9 times 10? Everything that I need to calculate the surface area is here now. It's just plugging it into a formula. P, 44, times H, 24, plus 2 times 90. That's just punching numbers into a calculator. if you're using a four-function calculator, please don't think you can do it all at one time, because you can't. Your number is going to come out wrong. You have to do 44 times 24. Somebody do that for me. 1056. You have to do 2 times 90. Then you have to add those pieces together. Okay? If you do that on a four-function calculator without separating out those two pieces, when you do 44 times 24 and you do plus 2, it's going to take 1056, it's going to add 2 to it, make it 1058, and then it's going to multiply 1058 by 90. And your answer came out really large compared to what the real answer should have been.
I did that all in a line and I got 95,220.
Okay. If you do it on a four-function calculator, it would come out wrong. If you do it all at one time on your calculator, key it in just like it is, 44 times 24 plus 2 times 90 should get the right answer. 1,236. Why? Why is there a difference between this and this? What does this know that this doesn't? This knows order of operations. It uses order of operations to do all calculations. What doesn't this know? It does it the way you put it in. You have to separate it out on a four-function calculator. Have to. But you understand the difference? Okay. Number 4. How many people tried to do it as 2 separate prisms? Just be honest. Let me see your hands. Okay. I would say that number 4 is much easier to treat as one prism with this as its base shape. Now move it. Okay? It'd be easier to treat it as one solid prism shape with this as its base. The distance here was 10. If this was 10, this 10 is the height. This base shape that I said we could separate out, okay, has nothing to do with this height. It was the distance between those two faces. The base shape was 36 and 24, 30, 20, and 36. P and B then both come from this shape. This is a trapezoid. The formula for a trapezoid is 1/2 the height of the trapezoid, B1 plus B2. The perimeter, I'm going to go all the way around the outside. This was 60, and 30 is 90, and 20 is 110, and 36 more is 146. 1/2 the height, which was 20, the bases, which are 60 and 36. Half of 20 is 10. 60 and 36 is 96, so the base area is 960. I have P, I have B, I have H. all that's left is to do what? Plug them into a formula. David. I took 1/2 the height of the trapezoid times base 1, which was 60, plus base 2, which was 36. That's the formula for a trapezoid, which is what the base is. Okay? Now, since that's the case, 146 times the height, which was 10, plus 2 times the base, which was 960. When you work this all out, 3,380 feet squared. Did I have it? Maybe I've written it down wrong. Maybe I just wrote it down wrong up here. I don't know which it is. So it would be 146 times 10 plus 2 times 960. I get 3,380. Okay. This base is what? 36. This base was 60. Okay? Everybody okay? Now, the last one was 2 cubes stacked on top of each other. And I think the trick here was noticing that they said that they weren't going to paint the bottom of this piece. So probably the easiest way to do this one is just put this picture up here. They said they're going to paint this. They're going to paint everything that you can see, but they're not painting what? The very bottom of it. Okay? So this piece that's on the bottom, they're not painting. So I've got to figure all of the surface area less whatever this base is. To do that, I figured this is one of the bases. I separated it out. I figured this is one of the bases. I separated it out. Okay? I figured perimeter and area of each base. Perimeter of this one, 4, 8, 12, 16. Area of this one also happens to be 16. I calculated the surface area for that cube. I did the same thing here. P on this one, 8, 16, 24, 32. Area of this one, 64. Calculated the surface area for this cube. But I agree with what I did. Oops. Surface area for the small cube. Surface area of the large cube. Why did I take away these 2 times 16?
Because it said that they painted this way after she put the 2 cubes on top.
After she put the 2 cubes together. So that little piece that's 4 by 4 is wedged in between there, so it's a top and a bottom. I had to take those off. By the way, you can see the first time I did this, that's where I stopped. Because what else did I forget? That she also said she wasn't going to paint what? The bottom. So I had to subtract the area of that bottom piece, which was 64, which is why 384 is the end answer. Okay? What mistake did I make? A math mistake or a reading mistake? I didn't read it well enough. I had to go back and figure it out why I ended up with what I knew was the wrong answer. Okay? Here? A 4x4 square. I'm taking away 2 of the 4x4 squares. Okay? Very good? Gotta be done quick. As it is, we're not going to get much class time to do homework. Okay, please listen. Volume is easier. Why is volume easier? Look at the formula. It's just the base area times the height. Listen, one of the nice things about separating out the base is if you get asked a question that says find the surface area and the volume, you've already done all the work you need to find the volume. All you have to do is plug numbers into a formula. What was the key to surface area? Separate out what? That base shape. So this first question says for a prism that's not rectangular, how do you determine which sides are the bases? Top and bottom, or whichever one is touching the surface. It's not whichever one is touching the surface. Where? It's the ones that are identical. There'll be 2 that are identical, and they actually will be parallel to each other. With that being said, take a look at the your turn problem. What is the shape of the base? Square. It is a triangle. This triangle and this triangle are the 2 that are identical and parallel to each other. Does everybody see that? If that's the case, what's the height? H is 22, and what are we going to do with our base shape? What are we going to do with it? I am going to draw it out separately. Take the time to draw out that base shape. This was 7. This was 24. What's the formula for a triangle? 1/2 the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle. Half of 24 is 12 times 7. 84. Once I've done this, I have all the information I need to calculate what? The volume. 84 times 22. 1,800. Now, with volume, this was meters, this will be meters cubed. Listen, the importance of what we did yesterday and the day before, separate out that base shape, stays the same when you're working with volume. Take the time to draw it out separately. If you don't, you're likely to make mistakes. Question? Volume was 1,848 meters cubed. Everybody okay? And understand what we did here? We're in.
No, I understand.
We're good. Okay.
Right.
Okay? a thumbs up when you're ready. I know one person's still copying, so I'm waiting for his thumb up. Shit. Okay, you don't need to write this down. How can you double the volume of a prism?
5.2.
I want to double it, so I wouldn't divide by 2.
Multiply by 2.
Multiply what by 2?
Prism.
What on the prism?
The volume.
Yeah, but I want to find a way to double the volume of the prism. I know that if I just doubled the volume, I can do that. Sure, multiply the volume by 2. But what would change in the prism to make that happen? What on the base? You could multiply just the height by 2. Listen, to change it, to double the volume, change one dimension. By what? Times 2. What would happen if I doubled all of the dimensions of the prism? How would it affect the volume? Very good. It would make it 8 times as large. Here's what you need to understand. If you double all the dimensions, you're taking 2 times 2 times 2. All 3 dimensions, the length, the width, and the height. It is going to get 8 times as big. What if I tripled all of the dimensions? How much larger would it be? 27 times as big. Everybody understand that if I double everything, I'm not doubling the volume. I can only double one thing to double volume. Okay? Now, I want to talk about your term number 7. They're treating this as a compound solid. They want you to do a rectangular prism plus a triangular prism. Okay? That's what they'd really like you to do. And it's certainly okay to do that. And the nice thing about volume, do I have to subtract anything out now? No. I still would not do it that way. I'd treat it as one solid figure. This, then, would be my base shape. What's my height?
30.
30. What shape is this? This is now what? It's a trapezoid. They told me that this was 13, this was 9. Well, maybe they left a piece off. Maybe I have to do it the other way in this one. No, I don't. This is what? 13, this is 13, this is 13. I don't need this dimension. I could find it if I really had to have it. Does anybody know how? It's not. I know it's bigger than 13. Does anybody know how I could find the missing piece if I had to have it? If I was calculating surface area, I'd have to have it. No? We've not talked about it yet this year, but I think we've talked about it before. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Anybody ever heard of that before? Okay. Pythagorean theorem, I could find it if I needed it. I only need to calculate the area of the base. So the base is going to be 13 times 13, 169, plus 1/2 of 9 times 13. Which is 58.5. For a total base area of 227.5. Once I have this, and I have this, I have all the information I need to calculate this, the volume. 227.5 times 30. 6,825 inches cubed. David.
So you multiply the answer that you get by the height.
The formula says the base area times the height of the prism. So I put B here, and I put H there. Okay?
There's a little squares in the
These little squares here, that meant that this was 90 degrees. It shows me that this is a rectangular shape. Okay? Now, I'm not going to work this one out. Can I use both methods here in this problem? Or do I have to do it the way the book wants me to do it? Is the height of the prism on the top the same as the height as the prism that's on the bottom?
No.
This one I have to add the triangular prism to the rectangular prism. If they'd have drawn this so that it came all the way out to the end, could I have done it at one piece then?
Yeah.
Yes, but because the heights are different, I have to add the pieces together. Everybody see the difference? That's your assignment then.